I think parents should get a yes day too. So, can I have a new 8K television?
Yes. No.
And welcome to the Review Tuesday. My name's Ruben.
I'm Kay.
And we are obviously reviewing Yes Day, a Netflix new original film. Let us know in the comments below. Have you heard of this? Do you know the other film that Jennifer Garner was in with the same director? Do you like this type of film? So many questions at the beginning of this review before we've even started. So let's jump in. Allison and Carlos decide to give their 3 kids a yes day where for 24 hours the kids make the rules. Directed by Miguel Arteta. Have you seen Alexander and the Terrible, No Good, Very Bad Day? In 2014, the same director for this film directed that film. And I actually have a lot of time for that film. It's a fun film about family coming together and learning a few things about each other. And that is pretty much what this film is also.
Yeah.
It's also based on the book. It's based on a book by 2 writers, so they're combined writers, and then they adapted it for the screenplay. Adapted it.
I like that.
And Jennifer Garner is the producer of this. The thing about Jennifer Garner is, when it comes to playing the role of a mother, there's no having to believe that she is that role. If you go into her Instagram page, you'll just see her making baking stuff for her family. You know, that's just her there in her element, and you're just like, she's the best mom.
She just looks like such a great mom. Like she does this one video where she's sneaking around because it's super early in the morning and she wants to get everything baked before they wake up. I'm like, hello.
Yeah,
you're making us all look bad, woman.
Great fun. And this film is great fun. Obviously, the whole premise of it is that the kids have had enough of their parents always saying no. And if you have kids, you know that you do say no a lot because that's part of being a parent. You know, you have to give them boundaries and rules, and as they grow up, release those boundaries and rules a little bit to kind of unshelter them. And the balance between that is very hard, especially when they get into the teenage years. We both know this. We have 2 teens.
Yeah.
And so I could relate a lot to this film. I found myself giggling a lot and laughing a lot throughout this film. Not because the funny bits in the film where they're like, this is the funny bit in the film, you will laugh now.
No.
More because you were relating to the situation, going, yeah, I feel what he's saying, or feel what she's saying. But let's talk about the premise of Yes Day.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a mom myself, watching their Yes Day, some of it was like, fantastic, yes, let's do this. And then some of it I was like, oh my gosh, that's just going to cost so much, like in damage and other things. And I think if I was to ever do a Yes Day, I'd have to have a lot more rules.
Yeah, but
which then kind of
negates the idea of Yes Day.
Is it really a Yes Day? I don't know.
I like the idea of Yes Day in a few months where you work up to it.
Yes.
So the kids, the reward is you get to do all these great things that you really want to do with your parents, who are always as busy and on screens as everybody else. And so no screens, no anything. You just focus on your family for 24 hours and you do all those things. You're going to have to save. You're going to probably have to make a budget.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to send those location boundaries, especially if you're in COVID and you're trying to do something like that.
Gosh. Yeah.
In your house, Yes Day.
Yeah.
Or the local park, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there will definitely have to be rules. I would say, do it. If you are wondering, should I do this with my family? Set some rules around that. But if it gets them to do better on their tests, or if it's something that they want to work at, if you find that you yourself are, as a family, not spending time together and so much time around the screens, and there's things that you think that they would really enjoy doing together with your yeses, that could be fun.
Yeah.
But going back to the cost, in America, you can tell us if we're wrong, the cost of an ambulance would cost $2,000.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, he got attacked by crows and he went in an ambulance? That just cost him $2,000. Like,
I mean, but that's taking the premise of the film too seriously. That's not what it's about. But the idea is that it could cost a lot, and so you would
you'd have to budget for it. And
yeah.
maybe I don't know if this is actually a thing and whether it would even be possible. Maybe you can comment below. But maybe if you can't commit to 24 hours, because that is a hell of a long time and a lot. I mean, children have a heck of a lot more energy than we do. And I just don't think I could keep going for that long. But maybe you could do like a half day. Like a
Half Yes Day.
Yes afternoon.
Who's ready for Yes Day?
Okay, so about the film, because we talked a lot about
Sorry.
the premise of Yes Day. The film itself actually works very well. You have your start, middle, ending, as in they set the premise up, you get the bulk of it. There is some meat and there's some emotional depth to it, apart from like the skits of the comedy, of the haikus that ensue. Haiku?
Hijinks?
Haiku. Because they
You
say
have to
haiku.
count your words.
Yeah, the hijinks that ensue, there is some meat in it, and then you have that nice emotional fruition, which obviously you're going to get in a family-friendly film like this. And it is definitely family-friendly. I think the
absolutely.
kids would love it, the
Yeah.
parents would love it. It's definitely an all-rounder. It's a lot of fun to watch, and there's things that you're glad that you're not doing on your Yes Day. You're like, oh, that's expensive, man,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I could survive that. But there's stuff like water balloon fights in the car wash with the windows down. I thought that was hilarious.
I mean, that is hilarious, but no, that's not happening. That's the end of my car.
If you've seen the trailer, then yeah. I mean, if
My
logically
car
you're
would
thinking
just like,
that's an
that's a
expense,
new
I'm just
car.
saying no to. If you have another car, then maybe, but no.
Yeah, but still. It's like, oh, let's just ruin this car. It'll be fine.
Yeah. So the stuff that goes on there, part of the fun bits or the funny bits are not really those like the jokes where they forced you to laugh. Is some of the side characters that we get that are known to be comedic moments.
yeah.
So there's a lady that is a paramedic, and we've seen her in comedy stuff, and she's so dry. And so when you see her doing stuff, that she's really funny. There's also a cop who, for me, stole the film.
He was like your favourite,
He was
wasn't
like
he?
my favorite. There's this little wobble he does with his lip when he got upset. And like, I just thought it was
Yeah.
hilarious, brilliant moment. There was another character.
The coach.
Yeah, the coach, not coach. We've seen him again in other, and he keeps cropping up in the film. And so you have little segments like that add another layer to the comedy,
Yeah.
the dryness of the comedy. You have little quick, quirky lines that come back as well, which is very clever. And then you have the family thing. So it actually ends up being a really nice, contained hour-and-a-half movie. Doesn't outstay its
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah. I thought also it was filmed well, it was acted well. You know, it's definitely not like Oscar worthy. This is it's not going to win any prizes, but it's a fun hour and a half, and nothing about the film irritated me in terms of the shots that they chose, in terms of the volume of the speaking versus the music. It was all really easy to watch.
Okay, so we're heading to the end of the film now. I'm going to give it a solid B+. But I will... what are you going to give it?
Yeah, I think a B+ is
Okay.
fair.
But I will pose a question to you. If you have kids, say A for yes or B for no, not if you have kids. The question is, do you think it's okay to look at your kid's phone?
Oh, that is a good question.
Because for protection and the world we live in, with all the weird cyber attacks, sometimes they've been stalked and they don't
Bullying,
even know it.
grooming.
Sometimes they're getting into stuff they shouldn't be and you don't quite know. You can have protection on, but the kids are so tech savvy these days. They'll have all sorts of VPNs, different servers bouncing around. They know their tech, so they'll be able to get around everything. And so if you
Yeah.
don't actually physically see what's going on their phone, do you actually know what's going on with your kid? But then, do you have a good relationship with your kid? How much do you know about what's going on in secret with your child? So, A or B, yes to look at their phone, B, not to.
Yeah.
Interesting question.
Interesting question.
All right, guys,
I was going to add a true story from us, but I think I won't.
let's not. Thanks so much for watching this review. We have other reviews on there like this one and like this one. I hope you enjoy that. You have to do this one. But most of all, until next time, remember,
Live long and Tuesday.